Today, we're diving into the incredible story of Bai Kanaya Haji. He's a man who found himself on a brutal 18th century battlefield and became this amazing beacon of compassion, all by asking a question that was as simple as it was radical.
I mean, think about it. It's a huge question, right? When everything is on the line and sides have been drawn, where do you stop being kind? This is the exact dilemma at the very heart of the story we're getting into.
So let's set the scene. We're in Punjab. The year is 1704. The Battle of Anandpur Sahib is in full swing. It's a fierce, desperate struggle. You have the Khalsa warriors, led by their spiritual guide, Guru Gobind Singh Ji, fighting against these powerful Mughal forces. The air is just thick with the sounds and the tension of war.
But in the middle of all that chaos, there's this one guy who really stands out. And he's not your typical hero, because his weapon of choice? It was just a simple water pouch.
You know, the historical sources we have call Bai Kanaya Ji a paragon of compassion. And that's not just some flowery language. It means he was seen as the absolute gold standard of this virtue. And his actions on that battlefield show us exactly why.
So while everyone else is fighting, Bai Kanaya is moving across the battlefield with his mashak, his leather water pouch. And his mission was so simple and yet so bold. Just give water to anyone who is wounded or dying. Imagine that for a second. This one person creating a little island of calm in this raging ocean of violence.
Okay, and this is where it gets really interesting, because the principle driving him is something called seva. Now, this is a huge concept in Sikhism. It's not just about, being a nice person. It's this deep idea of serving humanity completely selflessly, without expecting anything back, because you see it as serving God. And believe me, this principle was about to be put to the ultimate test.
Here's the thing, though. Bai Kanaya's service didn't check for uniform, and that impartiality, that's what sparks the central conflict of this entire story, giving water to both friend and foe.
So you have this total clash of perspectives. His fellow Sikh warriors, they see him giving water to wounded Mughal soldiers, and they think, what is he doing? That's betrayal. But from Bai Kanaya's point of view, he just saw a thirsty, dying person who needed help. For them, it was disloyalty. For him, it was his sacred duty.
So they confronted him. You can just imagine the anger in that question. Why are you helping them? From where they stood in the middle of a literal life-or-death fight, giving any kind of comfort to the other side was just unthinkable. It felt like he was undoing all their work. And this wasn't just some grumbling in the ranks. Oh no, this escalated, and it escalated fast. It became a formal accusation of treason, and it was brought directly to the guru.
Okay, so picture the scene. The atmosphere must have been electric. Bai Kanaya is called to stand right in front of Guru Gobind Singh Ji, the general of the army and their spiritual leader. The warriors who complained are there, totally convinced he's about to be punished, and probably harshly. Everyone is just holding their breath, waiting for the verdict.
But what happened next? Well, nobody saw it coming, especially not the soldiers who had made the complaint. This is the moment where the whole story just turns on a dime.
The guru looks at him with these incredibly perceptive eyes, and he asks the question point blank. It sounds simple, but everything, Bai Kanaya's fate, and maybe even a core teaching of the faith, is all riding on this one answer.
And Bai Kanaya's reply, it is just so profound. He bows and says, essentially, when I am out there, I don't see a Sikh, I don't see a Mughal, I don't see a friend or a foe. All I see is a human being in pain, and in that person, I see the divine light that you yourself taught us is inside every single one of us.
The guru's response just silenced the whole room. He didn't just forgive Bai Kanaya, he lifted him up. He turned to everyone and said, this man, he gets it. He has understood the true heart of our path. And then he did something amazing. He gave Bai Kanaya bandages and medicine and told him, don't just give them water. Now go and tend to their wounds too, all of them.
So that single moment, that one interaction, wasn't just the end of an argument. It was the beginning of a powerful legacy, one that echoes right down to today.
So let's just break that down. In that instant, Bai Kanaya wasn't just proven right. His entire mission was expanded.
The guru's public praise and his gift of medicine turned one man's personal act of service into this institutional principle. His actions became the ultimate example of seva, a true cornerstone of Sikh thought.
I mean, this whole story is a masterclass in benevolence, right? It's about being kind and generous, period. Bhai Kanhaiya's example shows us that real, true compassion doesn't have conditions. It doesn't check your ID badge before it decides to help.
And that really brings it all back home, to us. Bhai Kanhaiya's battlefield was a literal one, but we all deal with our own kinds of conflict and division, don't we? So the challenge his story leaves us with is this: where in our own lives can we try to see past the labels of us and them, friend and foe, and just see the human beings standing in front of us? It's a timeless question from a truly timeless story.